Welcome to another issue or an episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture podcast. Co-host Brian and Brooks are here on this lovely Monday morning, Memorial Day. Thank you to all of our friends who have served, and we remember all of those that we have lost along the way. First big news in sports today. It kind of happened just like in the last couple of hours. Bill Walton passed away, NBA legend. College basketball legend, 3 straight NCAA Player of the Year awards, helped UCLA on that 88-game winning streak they went on that resulted in 2 national championship games and another Final Four appearance. You guys have any thoughts or any kind of stories about Bill Walton off the rip?
I actually have a couple. First off, he was a beautiful human being. He cared more about other people than he cared about himself. He always asked questions about other people. He always found a way to relate anything you talked about to either John Wooden or the Grateful Dead. No matter what the topic was, John Wooden or the Grateful Dead would end up being the end of the conversation. But the story I have about Bill Walton is Dan Patrick said his first ever interview with Bill Walton, they were at some beach somewhere. This is back when Dan Patrick was with ESPN. And he said that he picked up Bill Walton from wherever the hell they were and put him in this like little tiny Volkswagen. And he said Bill Walton's knees were in his chin. And he just goes, "You have any tunes, man?" And just screaming and singing the Grateful Dead in this little Volkswagen with his knees up to his chin. And then the other one is Bill Walton apparently had an orange Schwinn bicycle that he rode everywhere, and someone stole it from Bill Walton. Why would you ever steal the man's 7-footer's bicycle?
I wonder if it was custom made for him. It had to have been, right? Because he's fucking huge. He couldn't ride a normal bicycle. Yeah, I mean, I just remember growing up listening to him call a lot of the NBA games, and he was just a complete doofus, but it was so entertaining to listen to, and yeah, I'm gonna miss hearing his voice, and I'm sure the game of basketball is gonna miss him greatly.
And he probably is a top 3 college basketball player of all time. Him and Kareem are right there. He was a better passer than a scorer. And people forget that he won 2 NBA championships. He won one with the Trailblazers with Dr. Jack Ramsey as his head coach. And then he won one with the Larry Bird Celtics as like the 6th man.
Yeah. He was the 6th man of the year on the 86 Celtics, which is a super legendary team. For a long time, they held the record for most wins between the regular season and playoffs in a single season. That team was loaded. They had Bird, McHale, Parrish, Dennis Johnson, Bill Walton. Danny Ainge was on that team. Rick Carlisle, who's now the coach of the Indiana Pacers, who are in the Eastern Conference Finals, was on that team. A lot of legends. Anyway, Brooks, do you have any thoughts on Bill Walton, or you want to get into baseball?
No, you guys kind of covered all of it. I same as you guys. I mean, he was so nice to listen to. Obviously, he was just pretty happy-go-lucky guy, I think, from everybody who's listened to him on the NBA, and he did some college stuff too. But he was a super positive guy. I mean, I haven't heard anybody that had a bad word to say about him. Seemed like one of the more likable guys around the league. So sucks. I didn't even know he had cancer. And I don't watch NBA too terribly much, so maybe they have announced it on there, but yeah, that kind of came as a shock to me when I saw that today.
I think we'll go into baseball now. While we're recording this, we actually have the Orioles currently up 7-0 on the Boston Red Sox, and we also have the Terps national championship lacrosse game against Notre Dame. They're down 6-3 right now, but we're going to be monitoring that while we do the pod here. But getting into the Orioles, the sweepless streak is over. We have finally been swept by the St. Louis Cardinals. It looked like we had a chance to win all 3 of those games in that series, and for whatever reason, they all slipped through our fingers. I want to break down how impressive this run was real quick. So the top four streaks like this ever without getting swept goes back to 1942 to 1944. St. Louis Cardinals went 125 series. The Orioles just went 106 series. They're tied with the New York Giants from 1903. And then after that, the next closest team is the New York Yankees in 1920s, 83 games. So since 1940, this is completely unprecedented, not even close. Really shows the resilience of the team, the young team, and I think it was great to watch. What did you guys see from that Cardinal series?
Lack of offense, ineptitude. It really was. It was a frustrating series to watch. But obviously, we can see now that they've turned it around. What they've done in the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty obvious. We're relying on the home. We're relying on the home run too much. I mean, we're not too far past that, but it looks like we're starting to get a little bit more situational hitting, which is good. People are starting to hit a little bit more. Like I said, I mean, it's ups and downs. Pitching looked shitty, and it felt like every bad break in that series kind of went against us, which is fine. It's going to happen. So it was very frustrating to watch, but I mean, I'm kind of glad it's over. I'm glad to be done talking about it. Let's just go win some ball games now. And I love the way that we responded against the White Sox. It shows a lot about our team, going out and responding to something like that and sweeping a 4-game series. I don't care if they're good or a bad team. That shows a lot about your ball club, especially when Adley, your leader, steps up in 2 of those games. It just shows they got some balls. I love that. It's the first time we've really had any adversity and been punched in the mouth in terms of getting swept. So, yeah, the response was great. Obviously, even those White Sox games were not pretty at times.
No.
But, hey, we won 4 out of 4.
Yeah. That Cowser home run robbery to end the game the other night was pretty sweet. I can't remember who Kimbrel overtook. He's it seems like every save he's overtaking somebody in the all-time saves list. He overtook somebody to become 4th or 5th all-time.
I think it was K-Rod
or something like that. Yeah, maybe it was K-Rod, former Oriole great K-Rod. But he told Cowser Cowser was going to give him the ball to memorialize the game or whatever, and Kimbrel looked at him and was just like, "No, you keep that fucking thing." I thought that was pretty cool. Masson caught that on camera.
Yeah. I think he's like 7 or 8 more saves away from passing the next guy. I think. So I mean, what's that ball going?
It gets pretty bunched up, and then Hoffman and Mariano are kind of in the other stratosphere by themselves.
Yeah. I'm going to get it out of the way now. That's a shame moment of the week. Acuna Jr. going down. That's bad for baseball.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
That sucks, man. Really sucks.
That sucks real bad.
Baseball. Yeah. He's only 26, but this is his second ACL tear. This is the other knee. So he tore his right ACL in 2021. Came back in 2022, had a good season, and then won the MVP last year with a historic season. And then this year, he tears his left knee at the very beginning of the year. It sucks. He's one of the most exciting players to watch in baseball. So
that was painful to watch because he tried to go through it, and then when he took that lead or whatever the heck it was off second base, and just crumbled. I mean,
yeah. Sucks for him. Hopefully he can keep it together mentally. He's a young kid. Obviously, he's incredibly talented. These kind of things, I'm sure, are incredibly mentally draining. But he'll be back. It happened, I guess, early enough in the year that they're saying that he will probably be good to start in spring training next year. But that's just going to depend on the severity, the rehab, the surgery, and everything. So, yeah. Speaking of injured players,
they're kind of getting injury riddled down there in Atlanta right now. I saw that they obviously they haven't had Murphy all year, and then Riley went out last week or something. Some of their big guns are dropping right now. I don't know the severity of the other stuff, but I mean, that's
It's
a
crazy.
huge opening for us. I mean, it sucks. It really does. But I mean, that helps our cause a little bit, and as Orioles fans, because they were
Yeah.
the team we were scared of. I think.
He's one of the more exciting players. He brings young attention. It's kind of like Tatis, they're showmen, and that's great for the game.
Yeah.
It brings a younger audience in as opposed to the 60-year-old, Frankenstein to watch this. So it's just a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of injuries, a couple of nightmarish days for the Orioles pitching rotation. John Means leaving the game. They're calling it a left forearm strain, but Hyde said the issue is in the elbow area. He's looking for a second opinion, which is never good. And also Dean Kramer has a right tricep strain. That's his throwing arm. It's not considered to be a serious long-term thing, but he's also going to be on the IL for at least a little while. Tyler Wells exists, I think. I don't know what's going on with him. This pitching staff has got a lot to endure coming up. What do you guys have any thoughts specifically on Means, Kramer, Wells, on how the pitching staff is going to go moving forward?
Well, Tyler Wells is in witness protection program. I don't know where he is. He might have naked pictures of like Brandon Hyde or something. John Means is the baseball version of Lance Arbor from Varsity Blues. He is going to be a coach before he ever gets on the mound again.
It sucks.
It sucks. His velo was painful to watch him pitch. So
just that last one, it was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
86, I think. You coming in at 86, you're not even hitting the nines.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because you don't want to beat a dead horse. You don't want to beat him in while he's down, but it's over.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, we still have to find out more stuff. Maybe he can get lucky and have some sort of Bradish type recovery. Obviously, that's not very likely. Kyle Bradish, by the way, 7 no-hit innings yesterday.
Awesome.
Did you guys watch that start? How freaking awesome was that?
I didn't get a chance to watch a game yesterday, so.
Yeah, it was. I watched it. It was good, and I think in our group chat we were all like, "All right, Orioles Twitter's either going to explode here, or we're all going to be in agreement." But
I think you need to stay off Twitter.
I know, right? It's affecting my blood pressure. That's for sure. But yeah, as a former pitcher, like I said, it hurts my heart whenever this happens. But is it the right move? Yes. I mean, the guy's in his 5th start after an elbow injury. You could see in that last inning he was starting to lose it a little bit. He was already. I mean, he had 3 walks going into that inning. I think he had 1 or 2 more walks in that inning. It was time. I just. It would have been nice to get like a Johnny Holstaff no hitter, but whatever. I mean, at this point, I'm not. History's cool and all, but I mean, like I said, what a May 26th yesterday no hitter. That means nothing if he's gonna go down for the playoffs or later in the season. It sucks though. I was really like do we go with my mind or my heart here?
Yeah,
you go with your mind at this time. I mean, we're trying to win a World Series, and it's Johnny Holstaff no hitter. Who the hell cares? It was a perfect game. We got a different topic. We were at the bar while I was working, and some guy goes, "He's throwing a no hitter. The next damn pitch, see you." I'm like, "That's what I don't know who the guy was." I was like, "That's on you. Like that's on you."
Yeah, you owe the bar a shot.
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. I got to watch a little bit of it. I had to work a lot. Obviously, it's Memorial Day weekend in Ocean City, so I was a little bit busy this weekend. But I got to watch a little bit of it. I looked up at the TV and saw the zeros on the screen. I think in like the 4th inning, and I was like, "Oh, okay, we got something going here." But once I saw him get through the 7th and he had over 100, I was like, "There's no way they're going to bring him out here." I kind of knew the writing was on the wall. And I agree with you guys. I think it's the right decision. I don't want to sacrifice September, October for a chance at a no hitter in May.
Do you see us pulling up a starter? You see us pulling up a starter for the minors? You see us pulling up a starter for the minors, like a Povich or something?
I think it's possible for sure. Yeah, I think they're going to try to go with what they have right now, and see how long the Irvin Suarez thing lasts. Along obviously with Burns, G-Rod, and Bradish, but if they keep pitching well, I think they'll just keep it as is. And obviously, I think if Irvin or Suarez start struggling, then they're gonna have to make a move. And I think Povich is probably the top guy. With the way he's been pitching in AAA.
Yeah, I was really pushing for him to get a start against the White Sox. But I mean, I'm not mad about it. He's good. He's probably going to get a start here soon. I mean, realistically, just with the way things are at the moment. But I was really hoping against the White Sox. I wouldn't hate it against Boston at home. I don't want to call it a layup start, but like let's start him off on the right foot here and give him a good chance to succeed. Because no baseball team is easy to pitch against. But I mean, looking at what we see, like let's based on the numbers, let's try to start them off on the right foot and see what we got. I do like, on top of that we called up that Milwaukee guy that we traded for random, like that nobody knows who he really is. Called him up. I like to see what that fastball is. I like to see him get in the game today if he's there.
Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, so we traded. His name's Tiago Vieira. I don't think that's probably not the way you pronounce it, but that's how I'm reading it right now. You guys
sounds like correct me.
He's pitched in 16. He's got 16 appearances with Milwaukee this season. He has a 5.6 ERA. But obviously the Orioles saw something they like. They flipped a AAA starter named Garrett Stallings, who hasn't had very good numbers this year. And look, when we traded for Yenier Cano, he had like a 12.5 ERA with the Twins, and now he's one of our best relievers. So
we actually got.
They obviously see something.
Starter or reliever? Bullpen guy?
Reliever.
Yeah, reliever. Yeah.
And we actually got two guys. I can't remember the other guy. I thought we got two guys out of that, but that was the guy that we're calling up.
We did. His last name's Rodriguez. I'm not even going to try for his first name. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't. I think he's kind of like a lifetime minor league guy. In his early to mid 30s. So not.
Does anyone ever remember who we got from Mike Yastrzemski? That guy's been in the big league since we sent him to the San Francisco Giants, and we got some guy with the last name Herb, and he never even saw the show. That was a great trade. Thanks.
Tyler Herb.
Sean Foy had one of the better quips at Dan Duquette, the former Oriole GM. This is back when the Orioles were doing real well in like 2012, and the Blue Jays were trying to hire Duquette to be the vice president of baseball ops, and Peter Angelos, being the douche that he was, wouldn't allow the Blue Jays to get him unless we got compensation. So he's getting sought after by Toronto, and that's why we didn't sign Nelson Cruz, why we didn't make any free agent moves, because Dan Duquette didn't know he was going to be with the Orioles. So we're in Camden Yards, and we're walking by, and Sean Foy sees Dan Duquette on the club level eating bacon, and he goes, "Hey, Dan, Canadian bacon?"
Boy, where you at? Join in the podcast. Call in if you're watching.
Oh man, you got some stones.
Tyler Herb is on the Nashville Sounds, who are the AAA affiliate for the Brewers, and he has less than 25 games, less than 25 appearances in the minors since 2018. So not much of a career.
Well, he's better than Billy Rao or Matt Hobgood that we drafted.
Don't bring those names up around me.
Okay.
I think we took Matt Hobgood in the Trout draft, by the way.
I don't have too many rules about drafting players. You never draft a man wearing braces. It's like you never trust a skinny chef. You never trust a pitcher wearing braces.
Stowers is doing everything he can to stay on this team right now, guys.
Yeah, I'm missing.
He just had a little base it up the middle with a couple more RBIs. He's
Hey,
got
Dusty,
four. He's got 4 RBIs today, boys. He's got
Hell
3
yeah.
hits, 4 RBIs.
I love it.
Brooksy, do you get Masson out there, or do you have to go through that FUBU TV thing, or whatever the hell it is?
No, I just pay for the MLB TV for the year.
Has anyone
And then I
heard
get
anything about FUBU TV where you can get like, I guess, any team or all Major League Baseball? Has anyone heard about?
I've heard about it, but I'm not familiar enough to talk about it.
Yeah, because I mean,
so
Major League Baseball
really
will find a way to screw it. They'll find a way to screw it up. So I was wondering if any like any information on it.
Yeah.
No, but I'll definitely look into it for next year. But because I mean, MLB TV is like, I don't know, $200 a year. I forget how much it is, 250 maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot more reasonable than the NFL package for how many games you get. But obviously,
yeah.
the money's going to follow with
What's Red Zone
people
cost?
are watching. How much
something.
does the NFL package cost on YouTube TV?
Yeah.
It costs like $500,
$2.99.
$600.
No, it doesn't.
$2.99?
There's
I think
no
it's like
way it costs
$2.99.
$2.99.
I'm pretty sure it was, but that might have just been the introductory rate last year that I paid.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you what it costs for the 2 bars. It's
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that number.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I wrote the check.
Okay, so it's $350 for the season. If you have an existing membership, if you want to buy it a la carte, it's like $500.
Yeah, so when they introduced it last year, obviously last year was the first year, they did like if you pay for it and sign up before this date, you got it for $2.99, and then it went up.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the new guy. New guy's coming in, guys. So we'll get a look at him
yeah.
here. One other thing I did want to touch on real quick that I'm super happy about from the White Sox series is Dylan Tate kind of starting to look like himself again. I brought this up last time. Yeah, I brought this up last time. Obviously, his numbers were pretty good when he was up before, and everybody was up in arms when he went back down. But he did not look like Dylan Tate. His stuff did not look good. For whatever reason, he was getting outs, and his ERA, WHIP, and all that stuff was good, but his stuff looked bad. And I think it was just a matter of time. But since they called him back up, I think that was his first outing since he's been back up was against the White Sox, and he looked good.
Sure was, yeah.
Looked real good.
Sure. Brooksy, what did you not like about his stuff?
Everything was flat, man. That 2-seam sinker was not moving. His velo was way low. His sweeper looked flat. Just everything about what he was doing just didn't look like he was right. Whether that was mechanically or still bad at coming back from injury or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he was cleared last September or whatever to make the team but it was too late to make the team for the playoffs. So he had all off season, but everything he was throwing just looked very, very hittable. Not the movement that we're used to in the depth that we're used to seeing, but like during the White Sox series, he had that fastball back up to anywhere from 94 to 96 with a ton of sink on it. And he's cutting corners like how Greg Maddux used to do. So, I mean, if you take the corner of the plate right here, I mean, you're literally you're trying to cut the outside corner and like bring it back on from the outside to the inside. So, I mean, he was back doing that again. And if that stays how he looks there, I mean, that's going to be a huge help in the bullpen.
I mean, there's going to be a situation where he's going to have to step up big, either in the playoffs or at least on the playoff stretch or run to the playoffs. There's going to be a situation where we're going to need to lean on him. So we need him to get it together.
And I said it before the year that my sneaky pick to be the closer by the end of the year was Dylan Tate. Could definitely see that happening at some point, especially if he keeps progressing. But I mean, it's one game, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But it was good to see. Like, man, that looks like the old Dylan Tate again.
He's a tall son of a gun, man. He's all thighs and ass coming at you.
Yeah, knees and elbows. Like he's got everything going. Like everything's all over the place.
Yeah.
Something that our friend Brett brought up in our group chat the other day was, or maybe it was yesterday, is that we should look into bringing back Hunter Harvey, maybe at the trade deadline. I don't know if you guys have seen his numbers, but his career with the Nats, he's a 2.77 in 145 appearances. And this year he's got a 2.4 ERA in 26 innings, 24 games. So he's been looking great for the Nats. Obviously, the Nats are a young, up-and-coming team. He's almost 30 now, I believe. Yeah, he'll be 30 in December. He's actually shares a birthday with Brooks, December 9th. But yeah, it would be. I think that would be cool to see him back. A guy that didn't quite live up to expectations, but found a home elsewhere. What do you guys think about that?
As a man from Dundalk, anytime you can bring in a guy who's got a mullet or long hair, looks like he lives in a trailer park, I'm all for it. Bring him on, baby.
Yeah, I mean, what was the reasoning why he kind of didn't work out with us? It was always injuries. So
always hurt. Always.
So it's kind of like the John Means curse. It's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. Because I mean, we're not going to go after him right now, but he does look good. But do we want to take, how much do they want for him, and do we want to take a flyer that he's going to stay healthy?
Yeah, I mean, when he came up, he was a young kid. He had that Tim Lincecum build, very wiry, and he was max effort. He just started throwing with his elbow all the time. He was the complete opposite of Dylan Bundy, who had tree trunk thighs. Hunter Harvey looked like a stick.
Yeah. I mean, look, over the course of the last 3 seasons, he's pitched over 100 and some innings out of the bullpen. So he's been pretty steady. He's been healthy, and his highest ERA in the last 3 seasons is 2.8. He's striking out more. He's striking out more than one batter an inning. He's got the walks down. He's throwing a lot more strikes. He really found a home at the back end of the bullpen, and I just think that's something that we're potentially going to be looking for. So I just thought that was a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, the executive, as we like to call Brett, I mean, he knows his stuff. What's the velo on Hunter Harvey? Is he hitting 5 and 6, or where are we at?
That's a good question. I will look that up right now. Baseball Savant, if you guys aren't aware, is an awesome website for baseball information. If you guys ever want to look into the more analytical side of baseball.
Well, not a good start for our new guy here. 2 batters faced, 2 walks.
Well, you jinxed him.
Like
anyway.
that.
But this fastball's coming in at 99.
Oh, by the way, I got a new little addition to the house. I got a baseball
turtle. A baseball terps.
And then I got a duck that looks like Kirsten when she goes fake tanning. Orange.
That's an incredible joke for anybody who knows Caitlin. I mean, anybody who knows Kirsten.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to bring.
Okay, go ahead, Brooks.
Sorry. No.
Sorry. I'll go through this real quick just so we don't lose it. Brian already asked. If you go on Baseball Savant and look at Hunter Harvey's page, there is a lot of red, which is a very good sign. He is in the 96th percentile of all pitchers in baseball with an average fastball velo of 97.8.
Jesus.
He is also has a 91 pitch run value, 78 fastball run value, which means his stuff is moving. 83 in his break value. I mean, I'm in. He's got 97 percentile in barrel percentages, so this guy is missing barrels. And
I don't know about you guys. You can chime in whenever you want, but when I look at a pitcher, I always look at whip. I want to see what your whip is. If the whip's going up, like when we got Ubaldo Jimenez, we signed him, his whip was consistently going up and his velo was going down. I'm like, this is a terrible sign. So I'm going to see what his whip is. If his whip is low,
his whip over the last 2 seasons is .95.
Okay, and for those of you that are watching,
very, very good.
For those of you that are watching, whip means walks and hits per innings pitched.
Yeah. So if you're allowing less than 1 base runner an inning, you're doing very good.
Very.
Yeah. Brooks, you were about to say something before I rudely interrupted you.
No, I wanted to get that in because I think we're all a little ADD here because we forget to circle back on some things. But I just wanted to bring up a couple bullpen rankings that I posted yesterday just because everyone feels like the sky is falling with the Orioles bullpen, and we talked about it ad nauseum last week or 2 weeks ago with Ryan Ripken. ERA, we're 10th. All these are out of 30 MLB teams. ERA, we're 10th. Our whip is 4th, and our average is 3rd. Our batting average against is 3rd. So sky's not falling. It feels a lot worse than obviously last year, especially towards the end of last year. But, I mean, I'm just trying to put things into perspective and say, yeah, it doesn't feel right. And I'll agree with anybody who wants to say like, yeah, but this bullpen stinks. I'm like, okay, first of all, they don't stink because Dan Clark is out there tweeting like this bullpen is so bad. I'm like, okay, they're not so bad. It feels worse than it is. Here's the perspective of it. So we have blown more saves than we should have. That's for sure. We know that's an issue. It seems like, I mean, again, we're trying to piecemeal that a little bit. Kimbrel's been pitching good as of late, but this could be an ongoing saga with him. Like he's going to get hot, then he's going to go through a rough stretch. So it's nice that we're not playing or pitching very well. These are the numbers, and we're winning. We're 32. What's our record right now? 31 and 18.
3 and 18.
33 and 18.
So it's good. We're in a good spot.
Brooke, to your point, and kind of piggybacking off about when we were with Ryan Ripken, there's adversity happening throughout the duration of the season. We did not have a lot of adversity last year. We're having adversity now, which is going to benefit us when we get near the playoffs or in the playoffs. I like to see us struggle from time to time. Not that I want us to struggle, but I like to see it because you got to see how you're going to fight. Are you going to get off the canvas and you're going to fight back?
Yeah, I mean, like we just talked about with the St. Louis series. I mean, we could have definitely went into Chicago with our tail between our legs and been a huge letdown against one of the worst teams in the league. But we went in there. We found a way to sweep them. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but started actually moving runners the correct way and manufacturing a couple runs here and there. So, I mean, our leader stepped up in two big ways, two big games, and won the game himself. I mean, you love to see the leadership step up. That's just him. I mean, it's just everything that you could have wanted besides like blowing them out 10-0 every game. And again, like Brian said, we're getting the adversity, right now out of the bullpen to see how they're going to respond the next game. How some guy's going to come in after him and pick up the slack. Just a whole lot of situations that we didn't really have last year because it felt like we put it on cruise control after the All-Star break, and it was just easy sailing. We won every game. 8th and 9th inning was easy, and starters were going 6, 7 innings. So I agree with Brian 100% here.
Yeah, a good example of what Brooks was just saying, doing the little things right. Obviously, the game's a little bit out of hand now. It's 11-3 now, by the way. The reliever is not doing well. He got 0 outs, and he gave up 3 runs. Anyway.
3-1 to the next batter. 3-1 to the next batter. You don't love to see that. He's not throwing strikes, so this was a good game. I'm glad we're up 11-0 to throw him in to see what we got. Doesn't look too promising. Hyde's coming out now. I'm grabbing a beer.
I did want to say earlier in the game, Kowser looked like he was going to ground into a routine double play, and he ran it out. And then the next guy came up, 2 outs. Westberg hit a ball in the gap, and he was able to score from first. So that's an example of doing the little things correctly. That's a 1-0 lead. Obviously, now the game's out of hand. It's 11-3. We're almost certainly going to win. Knock on wood. But
knock on wood,
that's an example of being able to manufacture runs and doing that kind of stuff in the playoffs is such a huge thing. And also, speaking of manufacturing runs, Jorge Mateo is the fucking man, and I want him to sign a lifetime contract. I want him to be on our roster, on our bench for the rest of his life. He
is a weapon. He does so hot right now. He doesn't do anything super well, but he does everything okay. He's the Hall of Very Good. And you know him. He can bunt. He can steal. He can field. I love it. And then all of a sudden he smokes like a 440-foot home run. Where the hell that come from?
He's not. He does do one thing very well, and that's that he's the fastest motherfucker I've ever seen. Yeah, he scored a sac fly earlier from Adley, which was like a blooper to like shallow center field. It looked like the shortstop could have gotten there. And I think the center fielder didn't even come up throwing because he was like, there's no way this guy's going to go. And he just took off and went anyway.
Yeah. Was that yesterday or today?
Today. It was earlier today.
Yeah. I think that happened in the White Sox. Like, I feel like I've seen that now this week a couple times. I mean, the guy's just smoked. He's barreling. He's barreling a lot of shit up right now, too.
Circling back just to close the bullpen conversation. Yeah, it does feel like the sky is falling sometimes a little bit, but yeah, we don't have the best setup man and closer and baseball combination that we did last year, so we're obviously not used to these high leverage situations being up in the air. But the bullpen staff as a whole has been good. Obviously, the high leverage guys need to pick it up, but that's something that we can figure out. And like Brian and Brooks have said, it's better to get this out of the way now and have some experience dealing with it now, and then you can see what your team is made of. And that's why there's a trade deadline in July. And if you need to make those kind of moves, you can. And if you don't, I mean, just keep giving these guys reps, because the more reps they get in these situations, the more comfortable they get in these situations.
I have something that's not on our rundown real quick. Going back to Mateo being fast as hell.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I've seen one last year and one this year. Stealing of home plate. I couldn't remember in a decade a guy stealing home. And then I've seen it twice this year. I mean, are people just getting lazy?
I think they're probably just so in there. I think they're getting like you're catching them just staring at the shot clock, right? I mean, now that they have something they have something else to worry about, that they're probably more focused on making sure they're on the mound ready to pitch or in the box, whatever it is.
That's a good point. You're probably looking at that 18-second clock, thinking, "Okay, I got to get the ball and go." But they just lob the ball back. And a lot of these catchers now go to that one knee stance. They don't stand up and throw the ball back. I remember when we were coaching, my college coach harped on it. If you have a runner on base, the catcher needs to stand up and throw the ball back, not from the knee, and then lob it back in, because that's when you give the runner on third the opportunity to go.
We had my college coach on here as well, and he was a minor league catcher. He was a huge stickler on this as well. Like, don't get, especially with runners on base, like you can't get lazy behind the plate throwing the ball back. These guys can a little bit because they're a lot better than us, but I mean, just doing like the one leg lobbing back bullshit, like you got to have a little bit more urgency with people on.
I mean, Yelich stole home plate, and he's not that. I mean, he's not slow, but he's not a speedster.
Yeah. And if you have guys like, I remember specifically Ellie De La Cruz when he was setting the world on fire last year when he came
last year.
Guys like that, it's like 3 strides for him to get to home plate if he's got a secondary lead off third. So if you lob it back and he's on third, you got no chance of getting him. So I mean, I think that's a part of the game is a lot of there's so much happening now between the pitcher and the catcher in between pitches. I think maybe that some of that stuff gets lost, some of the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's just something else. No, it's a good point, because it's just something I didn't think of either. It's just adding the pitch clock and having it there, and like obviously you need to take a look at it and make sure you're on schedule and not. That was a nasty pitch by Cino. Make sure you're not giving up a ball to somebody. So it's just one more thing to think about, rather than and that could take your mind away from paying attention to that runner, especially if there's another runner on first too. Like if you're first and third, like you're thinking about both those guys and the pitch clock and what you're going to throw and God knows what else. So, I mean, I think that's a good point that I didn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I can eat my words here a little bit. Mateo was probably my least favorite player the Orioles have ever had last year. Just because it seemed like, I mean, he was supposed to be all world defense, and he was fast, and those were his two traits. I'm like, well, the guy doesn't get on base, and every time we put him in as a defensive replacement, I'd rather have Gunnar there, because he ends up making an error to put like the tying or the go ahead run on base. So this year, like both of you have said, he's been phenomenal. He's playing different positions, and he's playing them all well. He's not making errors. Like, I mean, I'll put my foot in my mouth right now. He's having a great year so far, I think, in my opinion.
I love him. He's way better than that kale-eating MF-er David Lowe that we had like 7 years ago.
Dude. David Lowe, left fielder. David Lowe, I remember him.
Great story about David Lowe.
Fast as shit too.
Yeah, great story about David Lowe. So Brett and I were in a luxury suite one time. We were watching the game. David Lowe, we were like, Brett and I both say to each other, if David Lowe hits a walk-off home run right here, we will go to Nacho Mama's and throw a hubcap in our face. And if that the next pitch, we went to go see Deli at Nacho Mama's to get a hubcap and just literally throw it in our face. But they weren't allowed to serve hubcaps after like 11 o'clock or something, whatever it was. So we got bailed out.
Oh, that's a great story. David Lowe. There's been some really random Orioles over the years, especially random ones that hit walk-offs.
You know who I thought of recently? Because everyone's been harping on the bullpen this year. For some reason, George Sherrill came to mind and BJ Ryan. I'm like, man, where did that?
BJ Ryan was like a multi-time All-Star.
Well, so was Sherrill, but I mean, and Sherrill didn't throw anywhere over 91 miles an hour.
He always had that flat brim too. That's what I remember about him.
Like it was almost upward.
We got him in the Adam Jones trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. What a trade that was, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Some other news from around the league. The Yankees are just still killing it. It sucks, obviously, that we're in the same division as them. But they have the number one starting rotation in baseball, and they're doing this without Garrett Cole. We talked about when we were doing our season preview, I said I don't think the Yankees are going to be able to handle not having Garrett Cole because he's been such a stalwart for their rotation, and their rotation struggled a lot. And really, their young guys have stepped up. Luis Gil has stepped up. Rodon has pitched. He's been actually healthy this year, so he's been able to pitch, and he's been pitching pretty well. Nestor Cortez is pitching well. So they have the number one staff in baseball. It sucks for the Orioles, and it sucks also that Garrett Cole is now pitching off a mound and throwing simulated games because he's going to be coming back soon. They're pretty scary. Have you guys watched any Yankees in the last few weeks?
A little bit here and there. Am I freezing up, by the way? Just a heads up. I got like a little notification in my.
No, you're dark as
a little
shit,
bit, but you're fine.
Okay. Look, for anyone watching this, do not worry about the Yankees. Aaron Boone is the live breathing version of the Cleveland Browns. He will find a way to screw it up. You're fine. We're going to be just okay. It's going to be okay. As long as Aaron Boone's in that dugout, we're going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where they're finally living up to their potential. Nestor Cortez feels like he's just going to give you – I mean, he's just like one of the most solid guys every year. I feel like he's not like every once in a while he'll get up there. I do too. Like I do. I hate facing him, but I mean, the guy just eats innings. He gives you a chance to win all the time. He doesn't have like crazy, like, I don't know. You're not going to look at him and be like, this guy's Garrett Cole stuff. You know what I mean? But he still finds ways to win. He's just a bulldog, which I love.
He quick pitched somebody the other day and got a balk, and the umpire was totally wrong. The umpire said he stepped off with his left foot first, and he was like, "No, I stepped off with my right foot first." And then the umpire went back on what he said. That was really weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's nice that you can review that stuff now because I mean, if the umpire's not paying attention, like we talked about, like as starting pitcher now, there's so much to pay attention to. Like umpires have so much shit to pay attention to that if they just thought they saw something, like they kind of got to go with it, right? You can't just. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you saw, that's what you saw. We're right, wrong, or indifferent. But it's nice having the replay now. And I mean, Nestor will also he'll get in the middle of his windup and fake throw, stay there, and then throw again. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, 100%.
How is that not? How is that not a balk?
I don't know.
How is that?
Because I was always under the impression that your momentum had to be moving forward, or at least horizontal or forward. Like I didn't know you could go backwards and do all this weird shit that he does.
Not necessarily, but you're not supposed to be able to deceive. And I can't remember if there's a runner on base. You're not supposed to be able to deceive the runner, right? Like that was the whole point.
It's beer league softball shit. That's all.
It's awesome though. It's awesome though. I really liked it. It's refreshing.
Fuck that guy.
But it's kind of refreshing though. It's like remember when and I can't remember his name when the guy came up with the. Sorry if I'm offending anybody. The Indians about 10 years ago, and he had the old school wind up.
I
think
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he had he'd go over his head and had the old school wind up. That was his thing. It's just something you haven't seen in God knows how long. But I think it's kind of refreshing to be honest with you. I've kind of really enjoyed.
Remember when Hideo Nomo came up and he would completely turn his back to the batter?
Oh yeah,
and he's straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. Just want to note for the Yankees, Juan Soto went crazy earlier in the year. Obviously, he's still playing great baseball, but Aaron Judge is just eating baseballs right now. In his last 15 games, his OPS is 1569.
That's
The
fucking
Yeah,
league
amazing.
average is like
we couldn't
700.
expect him. We couldn't expect him to keep struggling the way that he was struggling. It was only a matter of
I
time.
mean, he is hitting over his last 15 games. He's 21 out of 51. He's got 13 walks, 8 home runs. He's scored 17 runs. He's driven in 14. So he's scoring a run a third of the time that he gets up. He's driving in a run 25% of the time that he gets up. He's getting on base at an elite level. It's outrageous.
These are
When
Barry
he gets
Bonds.
into these hot streaks, there's nothing like watching him. You just feel like he's going to hit a home run every time he's up.
It's Barry Bonds numbers. This is Barry Bonds stuff.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things like are they peaking right now? Are they kind of going through the same thing that the Orioles went through last year, where we kind of peaked in the middle of the year and like we went into the playoffs pretty sluggish and beat up a flat. So it's kind of like I think I said something to somebody is it that? We'll see. I don't know, but we couldn't expect all these talented guys to keep playing the way they were playing. So
yeah,
just remember Aaron Boone.
When we get to October, we're gonna replay this. we're gonna actually I'm gonna make a whole video of where you brought up Aaron Boone throughout the season of the podcast.
We're continuing to eat crow on the AL Central as they're just an awesome. It just seems like an awesome division. Everyone in the division, other than obviously the White Sox, is competitive. The Tigers have dropped one game below 500, but the Twins are still up there. The Kansas City Royals are 14 games above 500. Cleveland's won 9 games in a row. It's been really fun to watch the AL Central this year. I can't believe it.
I kind of wish Tito Francona was still with the Guardians because I mean I love him. I loved him when he was managing, but I don't even know who the manager is for the Indians now.
I actually don't know that either. I know that Jose Ramirez is going crazy, but he is one of the most slept on, underrated, quietest dudes in the MLB, and he has been for a long time. Cleveland.
Every time I see him, I think of Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, the Cleveland manager is Stephen Vogt, former catcher for the Oakland Athletics, left-handed. Remember him?
What?
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that guy.
Wow, he got out of Oakland.
I didn't know they'd let him out.
Crazy. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. Anyway, good for the Guardians. Good for the AL Central. They're a lot more competitive than we thought they were going to be. We're going to go into golf, and we're going to do something a little sad to start, but we have to talk about it. Grayson Murray, 61st ranked golfer in the world, 39th in the FedEx Cup this year, won the tournament in Hawaii earlier this year, had a rough life, decided to take his own life this weekend. His playing partner this weekend, Peter Malnati, went to PGA Tour officials reportedly and said, hey, you need to watch out for this guy. I think he's a danger to himself. And he withdrew from the tournament with 2 holes to play when he was on the cut line on Friday. 2 holes to play. He was on the cut line, withdrew from the tournament, and that night he took his own life. I say this, I say all the stats and everything just to let you guys know this can happen to anybody. This fucking sucks. Talk to your friends, make sure they're okay, see if they can get help. Life is hard for even people at the top of what they're doing in the world.
We touched on this a couple weeks ago. My buddy Jake, did this, and I said it then, talk to people. One of my favorite things about doing this, even if we suck at what we're doing, and we really do suck at this, and we appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
I get to talk to my friends all the time, and that helps me a lot. And, my buddy Jake didn't talk, and maybe this guy wasn't talking to anybody. Talk to your friends, talk to people. It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, he was very open about his struggles with mental health and depression in the past. It seemed like he had turned a corner, but obviously these problems are problems that linger, and it's something that you have to constantly monitor. And yeah, it just sucks. It sucks for golf. It sucks for sports. It sucks for life. It sucks for his family. I'm so sorry to his family. It's just terrible.
I was wondering this when the news broke. I actually said, I wonder what his caddy feels. And I'm assuming he had a friend as a caddy, or at least a guy who's been with him for an extended period of time. Usually the caddy golfer relationship is very tight and close. I'm wondering what the caddy, did the caddy see anything coming? Did the caddy warn anybody? I mean, it's got to break him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing. I figured the caddy would know of anyone.
Yeah, I really don't know.
You would think, or it was something where the caddy was like, "Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of how it's kind of always gone with him. It's always been like that struggle. It might not have been anything that different that was happening.
Yeah, no pun intended. Like par for the course. It is what it is. He does this, and then back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, terrible. It's a bummer, but it's important to talk about these things because it's important to make sure people are aware that this can literally happen to anybody, whether you're a bartender like me or Brian running a restaurant, or you're running a real estate company, or you're one of the best 50 golfers in the world. This can happen to anybody. So yeah, talk to your people.
Talk.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna keep talking about golf, but we're gonna move on to the Charles Schwab Challenge that happened this week in Dallas. Davis Riley kind of blew the field away at -14. The two guys that finished in second place were -9, so he won by 5 strokes over Keegan Bradley and Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler, obviously the best golfer on the planet. Keegan Bradley, a very good golfer, had a great year last year, kind of got snubbed from the Ryder Cup team, had a slow start to this season, but he's in his last 2 or 3 tournaments, he's been really turning it on. And then Morikawa came in 4th. He's been at the top of the leaderboard, it seems like, in every tournament this year. Finau, Harman, both in the top 25, a lot of familiar names. Yeah, this Davis Riley guy came out of nowhere. It's just one of those reminders that golf is such a fickle game. He's 7 out of 14 in cuts made this year. Didn't even have a top 10 on the season, and then just comes out and blows the field away by 5 strokes and wins the golf tournament. Crazy.
He's not Canadian, is he? Is he Canadian?
Davis Riley is not Canadian. I'm almost positive, but I will confirm. He is an American professional golfer. He is from Alabama. So he went to Alabama. He's from Mississippi.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I think we all probably thought that Scotty was going to make his push that last day and probably win this tournament. But good for Riley. Just held him off.
Before we move down the rundown here, on the Scotty Scheffler topic, I mean, what's everyone's thoughts now that you got a little bit of footage? Brooks, I know this is kind of a point for you, a sticking point for you. Now that the footage is out, it looks like he's vindicated. It looks like they might drop the charges. What do you got, Brooks?
Well, they've said they're not going to drop him. I mean, they might drop him. They're gonna get a court here on the 3rd this week, so he's going to be back in the public eye or next week. Very bad look for police officers. A guy like this is definitely somebody that gives a bad name to all police officers. Even reached out to one of my buddies on Baltimore County and said, "Hey, did you see this shit?" And he was like, "Yeah." Some other remarks that were made I don't need to bring up, but this is everything about this screams somebody who is very badge heavy, got picked on when they were growing up, and now they get a little bit of authority and they're abusing it, especially as somebody who gives. I mean, for example, I think we've all seen probably that one Instagram post where he gave out 200 and some tickets in a 4-hour period and got recognized for it or something. That's ridiculous. I don't think I gave out 200 and some tickets in my entire career. That's fucking nuts.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it just seems like he has a jackass
You, I understand that the guy couldn't activate his body cam in the moment. Why did none of the police officers have their body cams going?
Well, from what I've read, I don't know about the other ones. He didn't even have it on in a location where like it wasn't even on him. I think I did see somewhere where he had it like in his pocket or his sock or something. So he didn't even have it on him, on his person, or in a department approved spot where it can be mounted at.
Okay.
So he couldn't turn it on even if he wanted to. And I said in a text message, if I'm directing traffic, and to begin with, everything says that like this was a chaotic scene. This was a chaotic scene that keeps coming out from it. This was not a chaotic scene. I'm sorry, a guy died. It sucks. The guy's already dead. He's not running from you. Nobody's going anywhere. He's directing traffic. The same thing that somebody would do outside of a school zone. There's just a bunch of traffic there. That sucks. I get it, but it's not a chaotic scene. They're just doing their traffic control, and he was a traffic police officer, is what he is. Like he's in a specialized unit to do investigations, and like that's why he got all those tickets in that one day, because he goes out on special patrols, and that's all he does. He's supposed to do that job. But we wore the same kind of cameras. They're at least the same brand as they have. When you turn your lights on, there's usually 3 different spots, 3 different switches. Or when you turn your lights on, once you get 1, it's not going to activate your camera. 2 or 3 is going to activate it. So if I'm out there doing traffic control, I'm not turning on my body camera. It's going to be on me, of course, but I'm not. Why would I turn it on? Okay. But if something happened that fast, or I'm getting into an argument with somebody, that's when there's literally a button that you press to turn it on if you think things are escalating. And I was like, okay, based on this police report, if he got drugged, I can understand why he didn't have time to turn this thing on. It's just not going to automatically turn on. But somebody around him probably should have. That was coming in there to back him up. And we saw the camera footage. Like people aren't sprinting over there like he got drugged. If he got drugged, there'd be 10 cops sprinting over there. Yeah. And you could see, like, obviously there's about 10 yards or so, give or take, that we can't really see what happened before he made that turn. The guy wasn't drugged. Didn't jump on top of the car. Tried to bash his window in, unlocked his car and pulled it out. And like, it's just ridiculous. This guy's going to get fired, I think. I hope he gets fired, to be honest with you, because he looks like a complete douchebag. That's somebody who I would just go off on if I were still working. So, and by all intents and purposes, apparently other cops around that have talked to Scotty since then said, you got the one guy. You should. So not a good sign when you got other cops talking about you like that. So that's
not good. All right, RBC Canada, go for it. Yeah, I know you want to bring up your RBC Canadian freaking Open.
I do, dude. Look, the next 3 weeks in golf, I'm a huge golf fan, so I get excited about these things. The Canadian Open was one of the most electric tournaments of the year last year.
It was,
Nick Taylor, our boy, Nick Taylor beat Tommy Fleetwood in a playoff last year on like a 50-foot putt. He dropped his club. Every Canadian player was sitting there. Adam Hadwin came in to shoot him with champagne and got tackled by a security guard on the green. It was freaking awesome.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
got that too.
It was super electric. The Canadian fans, they didn't have the Canadian Open for a couple years because of COVID, and they did it last year for the first time in a couple years. And the Canadian fans are fucking awesome. They had a hole last year that they called the ice rink, where they put up ice hockey boards on the side of the tee box, and the guys were like hanging over and heckling them and stuff. It was awesome.
Dude, that's awesome.
So this is a great tournament to watch. Last time, this is one of the tournaments that switches courses. It rotates between a couple courses. Last time, it was at this particular course they're playing this week, Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Rory McIlroy won that tournament by 7 strokes. He was minus 22 for the week, so he's playing this week, so look for him. And then also Fleetwood, Nick Taylor are playing this week, so if you can get good odds on those guys, they have a good history here at this tournament. And then Next 2 weeks after that, we have the Memorial at Muirfield Village, which is Jack's tournament, which is one of the hardest, most difficult courses that they play every year. Last year, Victor Hovland beat Denny McCarthy in a playoff. Denny McCarthy is a local guy. He's from Rockville. I think he went to Georgetown Prep. We've talked about this. Scotty Scheffler finished at -6. He was one shot off of making the playoff last year. So that'll be a fun tournament to watch in a couple weeks. And then we have the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, which is probably the hardest course in the country, I would guess. If not, it's that, Bethpage Black, Shinnecock, one of those.
Yeah.
Last time the U.S. Open was here, 3 guys finished at even par or better. 3 guys in the whole tournament. There was a professional golfer that made the cut that shot 88 on Saturday. It's going to be a complete nightmare. If you're waiting for a bloodbath after that low-scoring PGA Championship, if you want to see a bloodbath, you want to see these guys get frustrated, wait till you see U.S. Open at Pinehurst. It's going to be real fun. Yeah. You guys have any other thoughts on golf, what's coming up? Any other thoughts you want to talk about before we get into our draft for the day?
Do we know the field yet in these? Have they announced those, or do we have to wait?
So no, the Memorial is going to be an elevated event. So everybody major
should be there.
PGA Tour golfer will be there, assuming they're healthy. And then the U.S.
Yeah.
Open, I assume that they have pretty much an idea. I'm sure somebody could win the Canadian Open and punch their ticket. But I don't know exactly what the field is as of yet.
Anybody? What about the Canadian Open? Is that going to be just a couple?
Yeah. The field is posted. No, there's actually a good amount. Scheffler's not playing, but Fleetwood's going to be there. Rory's going to be there. Finau's going to be there. I think a couple other guys that you'll recognize the names right away. So it's a pretty good field, but obviously the following 2 weeks are the big ones.
Yeah, another funny thing is I don't think Scheffler's allowed to play in the Canadian. I mean, you can't go up to Canada if you have a DUI. So
yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
So
allowed to.
Scheffler, if he wants to pursue some charges here after this is all done, he can probably take Louisville for a good amount of money. But I know he's not going to. But
I don't think either.
Novak Djokovic couldn't go to one of the majors, I think the Australian Open, because they wouldn't let him into Australia for whatever reason. And I think he had won the tournament like 3 times in a row, and he couldn't defend his title, which sucked. But not a big tennis guy. Also, the Terps are getting absolutely demolished. It's 13-4 in the third quarter, so good run for the Terps. But it looks like they're going to be coming up in second place for the year, unless they go on some kind of crazy run in the second half. We're not huge lacrosse guys here, but we're big Terps fans, so we're always rooting for the Terps. Our draft today.
One thing before we hit the draft. This is actually a really big topic for me. I'm not a big NBA guy. I'm really not. In fact, I kind of despise it. But what I do appreciate is one of the best show in general. Forget that it's sports oriented. Is NBA? What is it? Inside the NBA.
Yep.
It is one of the best shows. It is so comedic. I mean, they have fun. Ernie Johnson is such a nice. He's Bill Walton with a bow tie. He controls that environment between Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. He's like a duck paddling underneath the water. You never see his feet move because he's so still on top. He is such a great host. And the NBA is about to lose this group because TNT sucks. Or Turner Sports sucks. It says they didn't need the NBA. This is such a great show that needs to continue to live. And was brought up is Charles Barkley actually has a media company. And what I think would be a great idea for Charles Barkley is hire Shaq, hire Ernie, hire Kenny, and to continue to do the show from his own platform.
This is 100% happening. I would not be worried about Inside the NBA going anywhere. I don't think it'll be called Inside the NBA, and maybe 1 or 2 of the guys won't come. I think Ernie Johnson's worked for Turner for over 30 years, so I'd be shocked if he went anywhere. He could do maybe a part-time thing, but I agree. I think Barkley should take that over and try to – whoever gets the rights, whether it's Apple TV or Netflix or whoever the hell they're fucking dealing with. I have no idea. Yeah, I think 100%. If you're buying the rights to the NBA and you don't at least take a look at this, I think you're making a huge mistake, because this is one of the best pregame, postgame sports shows probably ever.
It's like watching a roast every day. It's so much fun.
Awesome.
And I would love to make sure Ernie is there. Hi, Banksy.
What's up, Banksy?
Banksy. Bye, Banks.
See you,
I mean, I would love Ernie to be there, because Ernie makes it go. And with Ernie's,
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Ernie's best quality is like Shaq and Charles will be like going at it, and he's like, and now we're going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks, and we're going to talk about their third quarter timeout. Like, he just like.
You guys hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
But yeah, anyway, I wanted to bring that up because it's such a great show, and it's so much fun to watch. And you watch like Shaq fall into a tree. You watch Charles Barkley get roasted by people on Twitter. Like, it's just so much fun. Kenny Smith, like 3 weeks ago was running up to the big screen or whatever, and he fell. And the next day they put a chalk line of where his body is.
Chalk out. I remember they did that. Randy Johnson hit like a gapper back in the day when he played for Arizona, and he tripped falling around first base, and it was definitely going to be a double. And the next day they had a chalk outline on the field.
Inside the NBA, they had that. Remember that one chip challenge thing where like a Dorito was like super hot?
Oh yeah,
Carolina Reaper, and Shaq ate it, and they started like crying on live television.
Yeah. It's great, I think whoever takes over the NBA rights, like we said, should definitely make a
I think they get a ton of viewers just from people wanting just to see the show, like not even interested in basketball. It's like comedy.
And what I love about Charles Barkley is the most honest man I think in television. Like when they find out like all the guys are that day, like load management. Like, he'll be on the set, and I can't even imagine how the NBA feels about this. He'll be like, "This game sucks. I don't want to watch this." And like, if you're Adam Silver, you're like, "Shut up! Don't say that."
He's right though.
Dude,
it's good.
His whole shtick about like San Antonio women being fat is just so funny to me.
He called Anthony Davis street clothes because he always wears street clothes because he's always hurt. What?
All right, man. We got to drive this train to the end because it looks like Banksy is getting restless over there. So what we're going to do here is a little fast food draft. These are the best drive-through fast food menu items. We're obviously not going to count Five Guys, Chipotle, those kind of places. If it doesn't have a drive-through, it doesn't count. I have the order set up as Brooks, Brian, Dusty. Let's just keep it that way.
Well,
Brooks, you get the number one overall pick.
Hold on. Let me pull up who won last week, and that should be the number one pick.
Well, that is definitely me.
Dustin was winning, actually, last I checked.
Oh, boy.
You're paying people.
That's the last I checked. Let me double.
I'm a popular guy.
Again.
People don't just pick me for no reason.
Let's see here.
Whoever these three viewers are, thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Dad. You see him?
Hi, Banksy.
Thanks.
You see Uncle Dusty?
Hi,
Yeah.
Banksy.
See Mr.
Banksy,
Brian?
are you?
He can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna do my ears.
Brooks, I don't know if you or Kate sent that little video montage of us out in Carmel the other day. That was awesome. It's good to watch. I can't believe
that was your girlfriend.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't believe how much fun I got out of that. Did you give me like a blow up pony or something?
Yeah.
I think we went around with this everywhere, like in the driveway while we're like watching TV.
He became like the mascot of the trip.
Yeah. And we're gonna try to make it back out there. We have a ton of weddings in September.
All right, Dusty, 55. So Dusty, me, then Brian. Dusty had 55% of the vote. I had 27. Brian had 18.
I love
All right.
it.
All you viewers suck. You don't know what you're talking about. I won that draft.
Okay, I think it's if I get the number one choice, I'm going with McDonald's French fries. I think it's the clear and obvious favorite for best menu item in fast food.
Oh, that's a good one. I think my number one overall pick would have to be this is even probably my favorite, but I think it should be a number one overall pick. Taco Bell's Crunchwrap Supreme. I'm more of a quesadilla. I'm more of a quesadilla guy, but like, I love Crunchwrap Supreme too, and I think that has more popularity.
My favorite form of potato is Arby's curly fries, so I have to go Arby's first.
Wow,
Arby's that's an interesting first round pick there, Brian. Jesus.
Hey man, he got fries. It's a fast food draft. Brian, you could actually pick in a row here.
The Replacement was his first pick.
It was our favorite sports movies. It's my favorite movie.
All right. Do I get another go round?
Yeah, you get two. Yeah, correct.
All right. I'm gonna go Burger King Whopper.
Oh man, I'm out.
I'm not a Burger King guy. But I mean,
I do. I mean, it's obviously super popular, so I mean, it's not a bad pick, but just not. When there's McDonald's available, I'm always going McDonald's over Burger King.
Yeah, you take it without a doubt. I agree. You love their drive-thru. Or taco. You like taco.
Oh, my turn. Sorry. My second overall pick. I'm going. Ooh, which one do I go with? Give me the spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's.
Wow. That's controversial. I think there's a couple other spicy chicken sandwiches that might give that a run for its money.
That's why I was between that and another chicken brand, but that was my favorite.
I've got so many written down here. I'm gonna get off of McDonald's land just for now. I'm gonna go with the Baconator. I'm a big Baconator guy. There's no Wendy's in Ocean City, so every time I drive back to Baltimore, I stop at the Wendy's in Easton and I get a Baconator, and it's amazing. I get two picks in a row. I'm going to take the chicken quesadilla from Taco Bell. It's my favorite thing at Taco Bell.
Jay Harkinish gets a quesadilla for his ride home and has another quesadilla to eat at home.
Well, I'm usually a three banger.
Yeah. Brooks,
if I'm drinking, getting that at Taco Bell, I'm a three banger. All right, I gotta diversify a little bit. I can't go with another chicken sandwich. Give me a. Fuck, I gotta add a burger. Give me an In-N-Out double.
Ooh, good call.
My god,
good call.
That's not gonna play. That's not gonna play well because every one of our friends are East Coast guys, and we don't have that. But I mean, I just.
That's a hell of a burger, yeah.
I'm disappointed in both of you because this is a 1 seed. The cheesy gordita
crunch. I knew it. I almost took it.
Yeah.
I knew you would take it, dude.
It is.
I knew it before you said it's a cheesy gordita crunch, dude. You are such a cheesy gordita crunch guy.
Well, I mean, do you take that? I don't take that over a crunch wrap, though. I don't think. I love it. I do.
I think chicken quesadilla, and then that's a toss-up. Every now and then, you got to switch it up. Yeah. Taco Bell is basically all the same ingredients, just in different forms.
Just different vessels.
Yeah. Brian, you get one more to finish off your draft, and then we come back.
I'm gonna go I'm going McChicken.
Wow.
Okay. Interesting pick.
If you look at my Uber Eats history, all 4 of these things are listed prominently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dusty, why are we doing 4? Let's just keep it at 5. Let's just keep it at even 5 every time.
You want to do 5? Okay.
That way we do top 5s. Top 5s every time.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go the. Ooh, give me a dessert.
Ooh.
No, I'm not gonna go with dessert. I gotta go with just like the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. I mean, I know I already have one, but I mean that's a stalemate.
I can't believe this didn't go earlier. We're probably gonna get a ton of shit. I had it down,
Yeah.
but
It's a staple.
I'm gonna finish
What's
off my
that?
draft here. I am gonna take a dessert. I'm going with the Frosty.
Yeah.
From Wendy's.
That's
You
what I was
dip the
thinking about
fries?
taking.
Do you dip the fries
Wendy's.
in it?
Oh, 100%.
Shit, I'll dip a burger in it.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll get weird with that shit. I've got so many honorable mentions. I don't want to take another potato, but there's one that's just jumping out at me. I got a burger. I got chicken. Give me a double quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
That's a staple order for me at McDonald's. That's my favorite fast food place, probably McDonald's.
That's
So
some
I'm
of
just
the
gonna go
Americans.
with a double quarter pounder with cheese. It's a outrageous sandwich, but it's so fucking good.
That should come with an American flag wrapper.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next pick actually. Do I go breakfast? What? All right, I'll go with a classic. Go with a classic. Just give me a Big Mac.
There you go.
Wow, Big Mac. That's a good answer.
I was between that and McDonald's breakfast. I don't know.
I don't like McDonald's breakfast.
Man,
I think
McDonald's.
The fact that there's no McGriddles on this list so far is going to piss off so many people.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not taking a fucking McGriddle. I'm going big beef.
Big beef and cheddar from Arby's. You got two Arby's sandwiches.
We have the
wow. I have a note on my.
You better hope this is an Arby's crowd.
My favorite fast food items. I can't believe nobody picked McDonald's hash browns. I can't believe McDouble's not off the board. Popeye's chicken sandwich.
But I mean, you can't take McDouble when you got double quarter pounder sitting out there. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. And then sneaky honorable mention from me: the Frisco burger from Hardee's is fantastic. If you've never had it,
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's like a patty melt with bacon on it. It's so good. It's on sourdough. It's unbelievable.
I went to a Roy Rogers like 6 months ago. I didn't know they still existed. It was down in Solomon's Island. Well, that's terrible for you. And we all can't be perfect, but they have like a fixins bar, and Kirsten and her mother walked up to the fixins bar and started making meals. They didn't order a damn thing. They just started making meals out of the fixins bar. What the hell is this?
We'll run down it real quick, just so you guys remember, and we'll post these on our socials as well. But my draft is McDonald's fries, Baconator from Wendy's, chicken quesadilla from Taco Bell, Frosty from Wendy's, and then double quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's. Brooks got the Crunchwrap Supreme, spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's, In-N-Out double, Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, and a Big Mac. And Brian's draft was Brian's draft was Arby's curly fries, Whopper, cheesy gordita crunch, McChicken, and the big beef and cheddar. Let us know on our socials if you disagreed. What did we miss? Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of opinions. There's not much breakfast stuff on here, but yeah, we're not breakfast guys. So
waffle fries from Chick-fil-A should be on there somewhere.
Yeah.
McGriddle. I like McGriddles. I mean,
the Chick-fil-A has those breakfast burritos that are like egg, hash brown, cheese, and chicken, and those are fantastic. I don't know if you've ever had them.
Forgot about that.
What was that shitty KFC sandwich where it was 2 pieces of chicken was the bun?
The double down.
Oh yeah.
The double down. No Long John Silver's, by the way.
Or Bojangles.
Also thought about taking the Filet-O-Fish. Super underrated. Love it.
That's Kirsten's. Kirsten's the Filet-O-Fish. You guys ever been to a Biscuitville?
No.
Never even heard of it.
They do a great They do a great chicken biscuit.
Yeah, no nuggets on our list either. Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, by the way. Anyway, this has been another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. As we said earlier in the show, talk to your friends. reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Make sure they're okay. Say hi. We get to talk to our friends on here every week, and we don't care if you listen or you don't. We obviously would love for you to. But if you don't, we still get to hang out with our buddies for an hour, shoot the shit, talk about some baseball and some stupid shit.
We'd also love you to like and subscribe at some point. That helps us out.
Yeah. If you like the podcast, like and subscribe. Maybe you'll end up with one of these hats or a T-shirt or something. But yeah,
if we make one person laugh during the day, we did something right. That's all that really matters.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. And go Birds.
Go Birds. Love you guys. Take care.
See you, boys.
Cheers. See you guys.
See you, dude.